sperm whale jizz, fucking gross.
I want to start off with my positive thoughts on this film first. To me, this is a pretty fun film. I enjoy a lot of things about this movie. I like Doc Ock. I like, Spider-Man. I like the jokes like pizza time, the elevator scene, the train fight, him gotta stop the train and stuff. And those are my positive thoughts on the film. I know there's other ones that I have as positive about the film. But besides that, here's my negative points of this film, my issues. One of them is fans overrate this film to the teeth. Now, this film is not the best superhero movie of all time. I hear everyone say it all the time. It's the best superhero movie of all time. Not to me. I mean, it's a really good film. Well, I would say it's like the best one of all the Marvel comic films and etc. etc. I wouldn't say all that because I did a video that is called Spider-Man 1 is better than Spider-Man 2, and I placed my own points, my own ideas of why it's better than Spider-Man 2, which I'm gonna say in here also about why I think that. Anyways, Spider-Man 2. I feel like Doc Ock's character wasn't really well developed. Don't get me wrong, Alfred Molina, who plays Doc Ock, did a pretty good job. Just that the way he turns to a villain is just really weak. How they wrote that. The director, I keep forgetting his freaking name. Sam Raimi, the guy who did Evil Dead and Darkman, which I'm not a fan of Darkman that much. A lot of you are. I just can't get into that film because I think because the ending was pretty weak, middle end. But anyways, yeah, Doc Ock, the way he became a villain is because his project failed and it got his wife killed and a bunch of people. That's why it turned him evil, and the thing was attached to his body, and now he's like has his own mindset and things, all that stuff. I feel like he sure became like a better villain than that. Someone else should pissed him off better than that. Just the whole thing about his wife getting killed, it's like really cliched. Like so many other movies did that already, where somebody's wife dies or something like that, and he turns to a villain. I see so many other movies does shit like that before, so it should give him something better. So I remember this PS1 Spider-Man game when you have Doc Ock. He's like way more sinister, way more badass in that game. I don't know about the PS4 one because I never played the PS4, but I saw how he looks, and I like the design of how he looks in that video game. This movie, he looks way better in this movie than that video game in the PS4 version. PS1 version is actually is based off the comic book in the PS1 version of Spider-Man video game, and they did it right in that game. A lot of people don't know PS1 video game because they didn't grew up with it like I did and my brother. We used to play the shit out of the game over and over again, like non-stop. It's my favorite Spider-Man game besides Ultimate Spider-Man. And no, I never played Spider-Man 2, that video game. I never played Spider-Man 2. I never played that video game. I think I played Spider-Man 3 video game, and that was pretty terrible. Because even the movie was terrible, but it was funny though. The memes and Bully Maguire and stuff like that. The first Spider-Man game, I never played that one either. I don't think. Yeah, I didn't really play that many Spider-Man games growing up. I think I did, but not that many. But this movie, especially the parts like where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man loses powers, I mean, it's not a bad idea, but it's just it goes on for long, and I feel like it should be necessary you can put this in the film and stuff. I mean, it was funny when he falls from the he falls off the building and shit. You think he can still do it, and he falls and he hurt his back. He's like, my back, my back. And that was pretty funny, but I feel like the whole idea of him losing the power is because he don't have any confidence and stuff. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it drags the film, I think. I feel like that's what it does. Make the film kind of drags at times. Especially with Mary Jane. Mary Jane's character is like more bitchy. She's more like whiny because her stupid Broadway horse shit. I feel like Sam Raimi, why you give her character a Broadway role? Why can't you give her a different type of job that is not freaking Broadway? That was like the stupidest idea Sam Raimi came up with. Make her have do some Broadway show and shit. Like I said, I really like Sam Raimi as a director, but that's not a great idea for Mary Jane to have that type of job. It's like really bland idea. You should make it like I said, a business worker or something like that, like working at a corporate business place or something. Something like that. That should have been better. A regular job. That's some corny Broadway should be in like acting and singing and dancing. It's like, come on now. I guess Sam Raimi is in love with Broadway music in real life, so he like put it in the movie. Also, besides that, frickin' Jay Jameson, you know, the owner of Daily Bugle, he has this son who's an astronaut and wants to marry Mary Jane. What the hell is that shit? Another made-up stupid character. He has an astronaut son. He wants to marry Mary Jane. Another pointless character. What's with these pointless characters? That's a really pointless character. That shouldn't even be made. That character. Another pointless story in there. Him trying to make her get married to some guy that no audience really give a shit about. I feel like that was a stupid part of it. That's just why. I forgot to mention that in the other video where I said Spider-Man 1's better than Spider-Man 2 video. I didn't mention that part, but now I am. It's like her getting married to some guy that no one really gives a crap about. Her astronaut. J. James has a son as an astronaut. That's so stupid. Another dumb idea that Sam Raimi came up with. I feel like, I wonder what would happen if Walter Hill directed a Spider-Man movie. It probably would have been badass. Walter Hill. You guys don't know who Walter Hill is? He's the guy who made movies like The Warriors. What else? Southern Comfort. 48 Hours. Extreme Produce. He made a lot of iconic films. I think I missed one besides The Warriors and other ones. But yeah, I feel like, what if Walter Hill directed a Spider-Man film? I wonder what he would have did with Spider-Man. What actor would he choose to be Spider-Man? He'd probably make a badass. But a lot of you don't know who Walter Hill is. He's like I said, he's the director of The Warriors and Southern Comfort and, like I said, the other movie, 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. I wonder what his plan would have been. He probably would have been awesome. But anyways, after that, after the thing I talk about is stupid, with the whole Mary Jane's Broadway and her marrying this stupid astronaut guy that no one really cares about. Another one was like the fight scenes with Spider-Man and Doc Ock. I'm not really crazy about the fight scenes that much. One was at the bank, and then one's like at the train and stuff. And they fight at his destroyed project place. And other ones, it's just, I don't know. I didn't really find these scenes to be that interesting of a fight that much. It's nothing like, like I said, nothing with Green Goblin and Spider-Man. Spider-Man and Green Goblin had like better beef and better chemistry with each other than Spider-Man and Doc Ock did. Spider-Man and Doc Ock wasn't that interesting of a beef and chemistry. It's like a lot weaker than Spider-Man and Green Goblin did. A lot weaker. I just didn't like the whole chemistry between those two characters. Because the thing is, especially, Peter Parker is, good friends with, Doc Ock before he became Doc Ock. They're at the table talking, eating and stuff, laughing. That's the thing. I feel like Spider-Man or Peter Parker shouldn't even know who Doc Ock even is. I feel like he shouldn't even know him in the movie. He shouldn't even know who he is, I think. He should have been like, oh, it's some guy who just... Somebody pissed him off, he turned into the villain, and he's gonna go crazy and stuff, destroying everything, take over the world. But this whole thing is about him stealing money, trying to rebuild his project again, to try again, or and whatnot. Same shit again. That's the whole movie's about. All he's doing is just rebuilding the thing again. You know, it fucked up the last time. Well, why rebuild it again, dummy? Like, you stupid, Doc Ock? I don't know. He should have done something like more like sinister or something. That's not like rebuilding the same project again. You know, it failed. You know, I think you're trying to blow up people with that shit or something, some stupid shit. I forgot what happened. Yeah, something like that. But it's still, it's like you should see him something like more like a better Doomsday type of thing than that. Mary Jane, once again, she's a freaking damsel in distress again. Freaking Peter Parker, Spider-Man, I gotta go freaking save her again. Why can't she, like, you know, defend herself? Like, you know, in Amazing Spider-Man 1, where Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy, like, defended herself with, I think it was a frying pan or something, when you hit the lizard guy. She defended herself. She wasn't on damsel in distress. Her, freaking Mary Jane is, like, in all the Spider-Man films, she's, like, a damsel in distress. 1, 2, and 3. Like, she always needs Peter Parker's Spider-Man help. Help me! It's like King Kong's got her or something. I thought was she from? I think she was in King Kong. I think, if I remembered. Let me see real quick. Was she in King Kong in that 2005 film? King Kong 2005. Oh no, I think it was that was Naomi Watts. My mistake. Stupid Peter Jackson film. Freaking overrated director. Well, anyways, yeah, freaking. Why did you make her character a damsel in stress? I don't get the whole thing with Sam Raimi doing that. He does the same thing like over and over again with these stories. Especially when, you know, with Green Goblin, he was a scientist and he had his own Oscorp corporation. Same with freaking Doc Ock. He has his own corporation and stuff. He has his own scientific stuff. It's like he's like doing the same thing all over again with a different character. I mean, I understand, but Doc Ock should have done something like more like awesome, especially the fight scene. It should have been more badass the way Sam Raimi did it. He's like Sam Raimi like repeats the same thing all over again or something. Like I said, I don't hate this film. This movie just have a lot of flaws. Yeah, I know the first one has a lot of flaws too, but I like the first one way better than this one. And a lot of people like the second one more than the first one. People said the first one was like half-assed and it was rushed. How the fuck was it rushed? It was fast-paced to film, and I like movies that has fast-paced. This movie is like more slower-paced, I think. Yeah, I don't like movies that have like slow pace, that have too much like filler and it drags. I don't like movies like that. Especially if it's like 2 hours and 35 minutes long. That's like too long. Unless it's like a Scarface movie or something, sure. But if it's not, well, I'm not watching it. It's not gonna be good. I'm sit there bored out of my mind. It's not gonna be funny. It's not gonna be interesting. It's not gonna be awesome. It's not gonna be cool action or anything. If it's like action nonstop all the way through the whole movie, then sure, I love it. But if it's barely got any action about stupid romance shit, I'm not gonna watch it. It's like with the Spider-Man movie. It's like, oi, man. This freaking movie. People keep saying this is the best Spider-Man movie of all time. This is the best superhero movie of all time. No, it's not, man. People keep overrating this film. It's too high, man. It's a really good film, but it's not like that hyped up like that, man. It's not that gigantic. There's so many better, you know, superhero films you can name from, but I'll say this is better. Spider-Man 2 is better than Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, and the Tom Holland films. I'll say that. I choose Spider-Man 2 over all those films. I tell you that right now. Because those films were terrible. I mean, Spider-Man 3 was pretty funny, but the rest of the things was terrible. Besides, Sandman, he's like the only good character in there. He's the only good story. But this freaking movie, it's like all about just freaking Doc Ock getting revenge because his wife got killed because of his own mistakes. So he's like take out everyone else because he's pissed because of that. And freaking Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, he uses his freaking powers now, and now you gotta figure out how to get it back. But he doesn't care anymore. He decided to just be Peter Parker again, wearing glasses again, eating hot dogs, and watching the firefighters do their job only. Because he can't do it no more. He doesn't know how to do his powers. And you got freaking Mary Jane being a freaking Broadway, which that they should never did that idea in the first place. You got a freaking astronaut son, who was Jonah Jameson's son, who's an astronaut, which is really stupid. There's like so many stupid things in this movie. But like I said, there's like a lot of funny things, a lot of scenes I really like in here, but it's like a mixed bag. It's like a 50-50 thing in this movie. It's still a good film. It's just like there's like a lot of things I didn't like about it. Mary Jane should have been like the comic books. How she was like more laid back and chill. She should have been like that, not a bitchy attitude. I don't get what's with Sam Raimi. His wife was like whiny and bitchy or something. Started to put her personality with Mary Jane. Her character should have been like laid back and chill or something. She shouldn't be like all like rude to Peter and stuff like that all the time because her Broadway sucks. Why do you do Broadway? Just be a business chick. Do business work with lawyers or something. I think the director's like, no, that's boring. That's make it do Broadway. That's boring too. That like puts me to sleep when I see her sing. I'm like, oh, it's over. Oh, good. Back to the good parts. Oh man, it's like there are so many things in this movie they should have did better, but I still enjoyed it anyways. But I don't understand how the first one was bad. Like I watched the movie so many times. I watched the first one. I don't see what's so bad about it. Especially the final fight between Green Goblin and Spider-Man. That shit kicked ass. Especially when Green Goblin's like beating the brakes off of him and shit. And Spider-Man like got pissed off and he said he's gonna like do a bunch of shit to Mary Jane. He got pissed off, so beating his ass and all blood and gore and stuff. I don't think Spider-Man 2 had any blood and gore besides his cuts on his ribs or something from that train fight or something. Well, that's about it. It wasn't like how in Spider-Man 1, there's like a lot more gore in that movie. Like blood flying out of his mouth and stuff, blood hitting the ground. It's like there's way more blood in that movie. It's like the fight scene's like way more badass in the first movie. That's how awesome it was. It was like the final fight is like for like adults and shit, like beating the shit out of each other. Like that was like some real like adult shit than kid stuff. This movie's like more for like kids. The second one. Robert Downey Jr. is on my TV right now, and that Back to School movie with Rodney Dangerfield. Cokehead. Yeah. That's funny how I'm talking about this movie and I see Iron Man on my TV. You only got that weird Spider-Man hair too, that like blue and red in his hair. But this was before he was freaking Iron Man. He was in Back to School. It was Rodney Dangerfield. But anyways, yeah. Freaking Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, man. There's so many things you could have done better this movie. What else is besides this movie that's bad besides this stuff I... But as I said, this is a pretty good film, but it's overrated by fans. People like overrate it too high up. Like, I see it all the time. This is the best superhero movie of all time. This is one of the best superhero movies of all time. This is the best Marvel movie of all time. No, come on, that's not the best one of all time. Just because it had like a bunch of funny ass jokes in there, and the scenes where it's freaking the freaking what's his name, Mr. Dinkovich, is freaking the guy always asking for rent. He never gives him his rent, and then the third movie he's like, "You get your rent, we fix this damn door," and all that shit. And got seen where freaking what's his name, Jonah Jameson in freaking Spider-Man's costume acting stupid in his office, like shooting spiderwebs on his hands or something, and his freaking his employees looking at him to act stupid. And you got our scene, freaking Peter Parker's in a freaking doctor's office asking him if he was Spider-Man and won't have he lose his powers or some shit. I mean, that was pretty funny, but like I said, I didn't really like what he did with Doc Ock. How he wrote the story with him. Stupid Broadway scenes should have been cut out. The freaking astronaut, freaking Jonah Jameson's astronaut son should have been cut out. It's like so many things should have been cut out of this movie. Then yeah, I would have liked it way better. Especially like I said, the main problem was Doc Ock. They should have wrote him like way better. I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind in the future about this film. Maybe I'll like rewatch it again. Right now, I'm just gonna stick with what I'm saying for right now. The first one's way better than the second one. Way more fast paced, way more better story, way more badass fight scenes, better beef, better chemistry between the two hero and villain. It's like I really like it because freaking Green Goblin like mind fucks Spider-Man in that movie. He lives rent free in his head. That's how awesome that character is. He like lives rent free in his head. Doc Ock doesn't really live rent free in his head. He's just just beat his ass and he tried to make his project. That's it. Get out of here, Spider-Man! I'm trying to make my project here. Get out of here! You're ruining my business. Basically. I don't know. I mean, that didn't really make sense, but a couple other things about Mary Jane. A couple other things. It's weird because in the first movie, she was pretty hot, and she actually had red hair, like the comic book. This second movie, she has like her natural hair color. Kristen Dunst has her natural hair color in this movie. She doesn't have it red anymore. I'm like, did the director forget about her hair color was been red? Because that's how it was in the comic book. Her hair was red. For some reason, the actress has her natural hair color in this movie. I'm like, this seems very odd because Mary Jane has red hair. Why all of a sudden now she has her natural hair color in this movie? I don't know what happened with that. Like, her hair supposed to have been red. Because I remember, like I said, in the first movie, her hair was red. Here is like her normal hair color. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. Well, anyways, yeah. These fans, I mean, if you're a big fan of this movie, that's fine. I have nothing against it. It's your own opinion. I respect your own opinion. But, yeah, this is a pretty good film to me still, though. But people overrate this movie too high up, though. The first one's better, in my opinion. As you can see on this chart right here, yeah, I made it myself. Took me a while to get this done here. And, I can show really the differences between the first movie and the second movie right here. A lot of people are going to disagree with it while you read this. Yeah. See right here, the story, 8 out of 10 for the first movie, because it did have a better story. The second one is just... some of it is like copy and paste, other ones are actually different in the story. Not everything's like totally different. The characters were better in the first movie than the second one. Yeah, that's some new characters that are interesting, like Mr. Dinkovich, the pizza manager guy. He goes, "Go!" All the other characters. The comedy, yeah, the comedy is the best part about Spider-Man 2. The only thing actually was really good about Spider-Man 2 was the comedy. The whole movie was like big old comedy gold. More than Spider-Man 1. Spider-Man 1 did have funny jokes, but it wasn't like how Spider-Man 2 was. I'll say this, Spider-Man 2 has the best comedy out of all the Spider-Man films. I'll admit to that. Spider-Man 2 is the best comedy film out of all Spider-Man films. Now, the action is definitely a downgrade from the first movie to the second movie. It's definitely a real downgrade. The action is like way better, or way more top tier in the first movie. A lot more gore, a lot more fights going on, especially the final fight. The final fight is like really more interesting fight. The second movie, the fights aren't really that interesting in the second movie. It was alright. It was like average at best. But the action in the first movie was golden. Yeah, the fight against Doc Ock is just... he wasn't much of a challenge to Spider-Man in that movie. The final fight with the Green Goblin is like way more of a freaking, way more brutal, way more awesome. Like I said, especially at the end. There's like way more kick-ass going on in that ending of the fights. if someone did say it on YouTube, I was watching a video about the Spider-Man versus Green Goblin fight. I was looking at the comments. One guy says about the the whole brutal fight scene. One guy's like, "Yeah, I didn't like the fact that Doc Ock didn't give him much of a challenge in Spider-Man 2." And I said all the time. I always said all the time that he wasn't much of a challenge to Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2. And people are like Spider-Man 2 is like the best movie. It's like, not really. If Doc Ock wasn't much of a challenge. He wasn't. The first movie was more intense, way more badass fight scenes. This movie, like I said, it was like, I never found Doc Ock that interesting with a villain in that movie. He wasn't really that interesting. Like especially when he becomes like soft at the end, he start to become good again or some shit like that. There's a goody. Like this whole movie is like a hardcore championship fight for the hardcore championship belt. That's how that whole first movie was like. The second movie is like a kid-friendly thing. It's like a PG WWE thing. For the PG kids, PG era shit. Yeah, it's like the second movie is like a kid-friendly type of shit going on with the second movie. Like it wasn't like really downgrade with the action. Like what happened to all the the gore and shit, all the beat downs and shit. Like this dude Doc Ock did not live rent free in Spider-Man's head. Freaking Green Goblin definitely did, man. He is all over his head, just mind fucking him. But like I said, the whole final fight scene in the first movie was definitely like a hardcore championship match of WWE shit. That's definitely what it is. The second movie is a PG era wrestling match. As the second movie was like for the final fight. There's nothing to compare like the first final fight was in the first movie. Nothing compared to that. That's why the villain right here you see for the first movie is 8 out of 10. Green Goblin is sinister as fuck. Way more pure evil than Doc Ock. Doc Ock was soft. Doc Ock was fucking soft. He wasn't really evil. He wasn't like fully evil. So he was not really a bad guy, to be fair, because like he actually had a heart because he lost his wife, and then because his own failure caused that to happen. His own project failed and sucked everything up and killed like most of the people in there. So yeah, he wasn't really a villain anyways. He's like a fucking soft dude. All because his wife got killed because of his own accident. He's not a real villain. Green Goblin was a real villain because that machine like really fucked him up. All that gas went in his face and turned him like into a psychopath. Started like murking everybody. Green Goblin killed more people than Doc Ock did. Just to let you know, he killed way more people than Doc Ock. He killed his own corporate workers. He killed a whole bunch of other people. You'll see Doc Ock kill his own corporate workers. Oh yeah, he did. That's right. His own machine failed. Well, that was accident. It wasn't like purpose, like Green Goblin was. Green Goblin's kills was purpose. Doc Ock was like an accidental thing. So, like I said, he's not a real villain. He's soft like cookie dough. He's like fat like a freaking Oreo cookie dough. Yeah. Like I said, I like Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. He's good at Doc Ock, but I wasn't really crazy about the villain. Green Goblin any day over him. And a lot of people like shit on his costume, Green Goblin's costume. People like shit on it. Like, what the fuck's wrong with his costume? His costume's badass. What the fuck he wanted to be? The other shit, like that shit's way better than the way it had in the movie. And like people like shit on the costume. I remember like one of the YouTube reviewers, they were like talking shit about it. Like they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So that's the reason why I'll never say Spider-Man 2 is better than Spider-Man 1. It'll never be better than Spider-Man 1. William Dafoe killed that role. He killed that role. He did way better, man. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 had great comedy, but it didn't have great action or a good villain or a good story. So it's nothing like the first one. The first one had a better villain, better action, better characters, and better story. Except for the comedy. The comedy was a lot lesser than the second movie. If the second movie had the comedy in the first movie, then is definitely the first one's definitely a masterpiece. And the first movie is definitely a masterpiece. If Spider-Man 2's comedy was in Spider-Man 1, that would have been definitely better. Let's just add this in here too. Alright, let's add this one in here also, Spider-Man 3. And now, this one is awful, this one's like the worst one out of all three of them. Everyone knows that already. The story was bad, the action was awful. The only thing that was good was the comedy. And you know the reason why the comedy was good. You already know the reason why. Because, emo Spider-Man. That's the reason why it was funny. All the goofy shit he was doing there, I couldn't stop laughing at it because how stupid it was. The villain, well, half of the villain was terrible. Venom was terrible. Should I even count New Goblin? New Goblin wasn't really a villain. He was just pissed off that well, he thinks Spider-Man killed his dad, but he didn't. Like, he keep telling his ass, like, he's like, I'm not gonna keep telling you over and over again, dude. And then I kill your daddy. That's why he made fun of him and shit, because he's an idiot. So, the reason why is a 5 out of 10 for Spider-Man 3 because of Sandman. Sandman was like the only good villain in that movie, even though he wasn't really a villain either. He's like the only good character villain I actually liked. Venom was like the worst villain in that movie because Sam Raimi doesn't like Venom, so that's why he was shit. And that's why he hired Topher Grace, the guy from That 70s Show, to play Venom. And he wouldn't shut up when he was Venom. He keeps showing his face. It's a terrible movie, but the comedy was the only thing good about it because it had great quotes and had great jokes. That's it. That's the only good. That's the only reason why I'll actually watch that movie, because of the jokes. That's it. You get your rent when you fix this damn door. Give me rent. I'm about to put some dirt in your eye. You forgot about the part. That's my problem. Oh wait, that's the first movie. Shit. Should have thought about that earlier. There we go. That's the one. I mean, he fucking slams fucking Topher Grace's dorky ass to the frickin' fake ass picture of Spider-Man on the wall. Freaking fake ass photo bullshit. What's happens when you make fake shit? You get your ass fired, boy. Yeah, that movie was terrible. Especially if they had like freaking Gwen Stacy in there, played by freaking Ron Howard's daughter. I'm like, what the hell? Why the hell she's playing that chick? Like, she didn't even fit the character, and she was like bland as hell. And to be fair, she was like way hotter in that Jurassic World movie. She was hot as fuck in that movie, especially the second one. She got like big ass titties out and shit. Well, it's not her titties wasn't showing. She got big ass cleavage and shit. I was like, damn, she's fucking smoking hot in that movie. This shit, nah, she wasn't even attractive at all in this movie. She was pretty ugly in this movie. And it's just the way her career just started. So she wasn't really in her prime yet until like the mid 2010s at least. She still wasn't in her prime yet. Emma Stone did it better in Amazing Spider-Man. But hey, if you guys want to see me do more of these charts for other movie reviews, just tell me in the comments. I'll do more, or like my video or whatever. Because this wasn't really a lot of work. It's just add colors, pictures up there, and put posters of the movie up there with saying my opinions on the stories and stuff, like 1 out of 10 or something, 1 to 10. But yeah, this freaking Spider-Man's better than the other two, because Spider-Man 2 had a weaker villain, and Spider-Man 3 just sucks entirely because Sam Raimi didn't like Venom that much at all, because he wasn't really a fan of him, which I find it very weird still, because he's a big fan of horror, making horror shit. It's the reason he doesn't like Venom. I never get that. But yeah, that's about it. So Green Goblin any day over Doc Ock, and definitely especially over Venom. Venom sucks.